viewers, welcome back to Thames FC, and since we last met in the Cardiff and Hull games, we've had mixed results, but you can see there a fantastic little run, and we're going to talk through it all, because a lot of it's very interesting. It was the loss to Reading, the loss to Pat Rogers' Cardiff, of course, the 0-0 against Hull, 2-1 defeat to Bristol City. Sheffield Wednesday was a 1-1, which is okay, but you can see late goals, like we're scoring a few there, and then it was, as I say, a 3-2 against Palace, and it was at that point I decided we need to have a little bit of a change, because we're playing Palace there and we're having more possession than Palace, but we're not beating Palace, and for me that's a problem. Like, it's all well and good having the possession, and it's obviously a system that we've built ourselves upon, but in the Championship it's no good having possession and getting outplayed, so a change happened. And the first game you played was against Queen's Park Rangers, and you can see possession slightly less, but a point in the game, all of that actually in the first half, and despite going down to 10 men, we held on for that point, playing without a striker for a lot of it. And then the run of all runs came, and it kicked off against Southend with a 4-1 win. And if you're noticing the system, we're no longer playing the diamond. We're playing a 4-3-3, which I'll show you in just a moment, with some amendments in it. But 4-1, 4 first half goals, well 5 first half goals, 4 for us though, and a dominant display. So still really good. We're playing a slightly more direct style, and we're winning. Then Ipswich and Newcastle came, and if I show you the league table, you can see Ipswich up there in 4th position. Newcastle at the time were up there as well. They've dropped off a little bit, but 2 really good back-to-back performances against those teams, and in games which, I'll be honest, for the first time for a long time, we've not had more possession than, and you can see there 43% against Ipswich, for sure the Newcastle game as well, it was 43% again, but we're getting the goals. Robbie Edmund in that one, grabbing the 1 goal, Newcastle failing to take their chances, and then a back and forth game against Brentford, so it's win that 4-3, a late Altidal goal got us the win. He loves the late goal, as we know, and then more recently a 1-1 against Huddersfield, a very good Huddersfield side, take nothing away from us, but we conceded a late goal, and again they had less possession than our opposition, which ordinarily would be a problem, but you see Huddersfield above us in the table, whatever, the point's a point, and you can see Altidal there with 8 assists. He's not available today, so that's good news. I love that. I get to the point where I'm so excited to show you everything, and our 3 main players are unavailable. So of course, this was the system, excuse the player roles, because they're going to change when we switch it around. So this is what we were using, a retained possession, shorter passing, work with the ball into the box system, which was great. When we were one of the best teams in the division, it was working fine, and you never know, at some point this season, or maybe next season, or the year after that, we'll go back to this style. But what we found is switching up to this system, playing a more direct style, exploiting both of the flanks, and getting in the faces of opposition, winning the ball back as high up as possible with McDonnell, with Foster, playing on these attack duties, which we've used in previous seasons. You might remember years ago, within the save at least, we did this, and it worked a treat, and now we're doing the same thing again. We've got pace out wide, ordinarily it's Altidal on the right-hand side, and Tom George up through the middle, both unavailable, as is Scott Burgess today, so it's 3 influential players unavailable. But this system, slightly more defensive fullbacks, but with these sort of 4 players here, attacking and supporting with tipping to get us the goals, and so far so good. It'd be interesting to see if it works today though. 2 massive games coming up, the first against Bolton, and then later on against West Ham. If we take a look at the league table, you can see that Bolton are in, where are they, 17th, and West Ham just above us in the playoffs on 25 points. It's been a great start though, 23 points, as I say, that run there, 6 games now without defeat. It's going to get tougher, I've no doubt about it. West Ham should be a very difficult game at the Riverbank, but we should sell out and get some money. Bolton first though, and this is interesting, against some of the lesser sides we've done alright, so let's see how we do. So yeah, lots to get through there, but interesting all the same that we're actually holding our own and willing to change the style. That was something I was really hesitant to do, because it was so successful last season. I didn't want to lose that. It's a shame today we don't have Altidal, because his pace on the right hand side is vicious, and I worry that Colton isn't the same sort of player, so we'll see. I should say on Altidal, actually, it's a 2 to 4 week injury, so he's going to be out for a little while. He's the one player that is the X factor in this team, so the fact he's unavailable is a bit of a blow, really. Okay, so Bolton coming up. Our back 4 is as strong as it can be, with Davis in goal as well. Wolfen, Edmund and McLean, then those are the back 2 that I wanted to have at the start of the year. Obviously, McLean was out injured. Crawford at left back. He's having a bit of an indifferent season. Hopefully now with a settled back line, though, it'll be okay. Smith to play in front as that deep line playmaker, no longer playing the ball-winning role. I want him to play make from behind and get these 2 in front of him involved. Foster and McDonnell will be that 2 today. Beard on the left-hand side, of course, that we brought in the summer. That's our left winger. He's got loads of pace, really useful. Again, having him and Altidal, that pace on either side is really good. Colton's going to fill in on that right. Obviously, usually plays in behind the striker. Still got 14 pace, so he's no slouch, but his crossing and dribbling not quite as good. So we'll see how he fares out there. First time he's ever played there for me, so it's interesting. And tipping up front has been decent, actually, since he's come in. Of course, he played for us last year, didn't feature a great deal, but so far, 4 goals in 5 games. One of those was a hat-trick in the first half, so not too bad. Quite a similar similar player to Altidal, just without the pace. But I mean, he's a bit of a target man. But I'm playing him as an advanced forward, so we'll see. They're playing a 4-2-3-1 system, a system that I think might cause us a few problems. But I've not played it all that much this year, but I just think matchup-wise, this isn't great for us. But I think we maybe have the better team. You never know. No Scott Burgess, though. No Altidal. And no Tom George. You're thinking he's making excuses. You're absolutely right, I am. Okay, then the games get underway. We, of course, are in the blue. They're in the white. And I saw an O'Connor there, and I wondered if it was Jordan. It's not. Bolton are a fair few points behind us so far this year. You can see Palace, Wolves, Hull, West Ham. They're sort of the leaders of this pack. But it's still really close. A win today, and we're looking pretty good. I did say at the start of the year that I didn't expect too much. Smith puts a ball in, falls to Foster. It's a bit quick, but a goal for us straight away from a corner of all things. Who saw that coming? Thames take a 1-0 lead against Bolton and move into 7th. We'll see it again from this angle. Headed down. Nice touch across. And Foster with a flying volley. Oh, I love that. Stevie Foster still scoring goals in the Championship. Love it. Right, then now, with the high pressure, this is what you see. Our midfield try and press the ball as much as possible and force them to go a little bit longer. McLean and the like get involved. Tipping. Good first touch. Oh, and a lovely finish as well. 2-0 to Thames. Looking really good. Into the playoffs, folks. I don't really know how this is all happening. You can see a big clearance comes in. Lovely half-volleyed clearance. And then it's fired straight back in there. Tipping. This first touch. Oh, dearie me. Never mind tipping. More like touching. No, maybe not touching. Thames take a 2-0, and without our star men as well. That's the big thing. Into the playoff places. West Ham versus us next is going to be a corker. Okay, the question now is, though, because Bolton not playing very well, if we can hold on to this sort of lead, then that's going to be superb. Into half-time we go. So far, dominant display. Again, though, less possession. Of course, we were the highest possession-based team last year in League One. We definitely won't be this year in the Championship. I'm very happy the way things are going. Let's keep it up. And they all seem enthused. Okay, similar performance needed for this second half so we can stay on the front foot and go into the West Ham game with lots and lots of confidence as the ball goes up to Colton. First time we've really seen him, but this is the highlight after the half. So, it's a bit of nearly a mishap. For the first time in a while as well, our defence looks pretty settled. Don't talk about your defence, Ben, as they attack. As Wolfenden plays it forward, tipping in behind. Not the quickest, but he's got a decent finishing. 2-0 still. So far, we've seen very little from Bolton, it has to be said, and our midfield are playing terrifically well in the centre there as well. He nips past on that left-hand side, right though, ironically named, plays it into the middle, and Millen scores. One of their first chances in the game, comes from across as well. Wolfenden beaten pretty comfortably. We'll see this again, actually. I mean, the pace of Wright, I don't know how quick he is, but he bursts past him. Wolfenden slides in, that's part of it as well, I guess. And Wright's delivery, very, very good, and a fantastic header, you've got to say. We're playing on the standard flexible approach throughout this season as well, so it'd be interesting, well, I'll say that season, within this tactic. So it'll be interesting to see if we can stick with that for the rest of the game. Of course, we've got those midfielders playing very attacking. To be more defensive minded, we can just take them off attacking. They become more sort of generic midfielders, especially if we get a goal here. We'll consider doing that as Beard on this left hand side. It's nipped off him though, and Bolton do well to work this, and they do get it away as Colin Simpson at right back there plays it forward. Not the best though, and Smith gets himself on it. Now, can he find a teammate? He can. Beard on this left-hand side. Where's he going to go? Back into Smith. You see Smith sort of controls everything with midfield buzzing around him. McDonald, who's pushed forward, advanced position, and a close effort for us. But yeah, so far, really, this is one of our better performances, actually, in terms of dominating the other team. We've had a few games where we've sort of snatched victory. The Newcastle game was definitely that, where we've beaten Newcastle. Thames have beaten Newcastle, folks. I sort of played a big batch of games. I think it was around 8 games, maybe, as they have a good chance that goes wide. We probably should have made changes, but I get so sort of hung up on the team that's playing well. Foster's going to step out after a fantastic performance. Ben Cousins to come on up front, and Owusu's going to come on this right-hand side. And then he started Owusu because of the pace factor, but him and Colton actually aren't that different in pace, which surprised me a little bit. Smith to put the corner in. We scored one early on. Holmes, he's just come on. Owusu, I'm not sure he got a knock-on or a touch or whatever, but he gets the victory, secures the game, and Thames 3-1 winners against Bolton. And from 2 corners as well. I mean, who saw this coming? Owusu knocks it down. The 2 substitutes combine. Poor goalkeeping as well. But a 3-1 lead. And into the playoffs, and then us versus West Ham next game should be an absolute corker. The first time we've played them in a real match, but a great win there. Holmes getting a goal late on. 2 quick goals from Foster and Tipping as well. A header from Bolton nearly got them back in it, but it wasn't to be. And our more direct style working a treat. A very nice victory, boys. Well done. And I'll be honest, I thought this season was going to be... I thought we'd stay up. Don't get me wrong. I thought we'd stay up. I didn't think we'd be in the relegation battle as such. I thought we'd be in that little tier. It's an airplane. There's an air show locally. I thought we'd struggle, but I thought we'd be in sort of this where Bolton are now. That's where I thought we'd be. Always just above the relegation zone, and never really at risk, but never even close to the playoffs. But after 16 games, we're looking very good. Note though, a lot of the teams around us, lots of games in hand. Bear that in mind. Apparently, I want the Preston job. No, I don't. Not only that, Tom George is back to fitness, which is great news. Hopefully we'll see him feature so far this year. 6 goals, 5 assists in 12 games. Not too bad for a striker. Not quite the levels of Rodgers and Altidore last season, but not bad. I mentioned in yesterday's episode that I'm considering doing a really long episode, which of course won't be for everyone, and I might do like a recap episode alongside that so people can see it, but it'll be an hour long. I don't know if I'm going to stream it and just leave it on my channel or not. I'm not too sure yet. We'll have to wait and see, but I'll still call it the episode and release it as an episode. But it's going to be the January window. I think that's probably the best thing to do. I don't know how long that'll take, but it should be 3 or 4 games, so it'll be about that, just filling you in the deets. Can you tell I'm loving this save? Is it obvious that I'm absolutely loving it? Thames are happy that I don't want the Preston job. Not as happy as I am. I just wonder what the West Ham team looks like now. We're so many years in, I can't imagine Mark Noble still playing. If he is, hats off to him. I mean, that is impressive. Keep seeing this guy, Liam Wilson, is available as a free agent. He's actually potentially worth getting. 5k a week would be quite a lot for us. It was a bit of a start in a Mansfield side last season. I mean, what do you think? Yes? No? I don't know. We'll get another scout report on him and see what that one says. If he can get us like 4,000, he might be quite a good addition. But we've stopped playing with a central player, so I don't know. Right, and team-wise, the only big change we're going to make is that Tom George is going to come onto the bench. I don't know who for, though. Maybe Jamie Wilkinson. We don't necessarily need another player very similar to Andrew Murray on there. Everyone else, I think, will stay as we are. Davis, of course, in goal. Then Wolford and Edmund, McLean and Crawford. Smith just in front. Foster and McDonald keep their places, as Scott Burgess is not quite ready yet, still injured. It shouldn't be too long, actually. How long is that? 7 days to 3 weeks, so a while, yeah. Colton on the right-hand side did an okay job without being spectacular. Beard had a good game, and Tipping up front, and of course, got his goal. So where we go again. Right, then what's this West Ham team look like? I'm intrigued. So they've got 2 real humans up front, which is quite rare. A 31-year-old Serbian who looks, okay, he's on 100 grand a week, and William Guibels. So he's 30, starts his career at Lyon, and he's had a pretty good career. He's been at West Ham for ages, my word. Okay, that's quite impressive. No Mark Noble, though. Somewhat disappointing. Their manager is Tom Waterston. Have they had any funny managers in recent times? Ryan Giggs was manager, Roberto Martinez, Roberto Mancini, and it started with David Moyes. Well, Roberto Martinez was manager for 8 years, by the way. That's a long time. So they're playing a 4-4-2. I don't think I've played against a 4-4-2 much this year at all, so this will be interesting as well. I like playing new formations and seeing how we do with them and seeing what's good and what's not. Okay then, the games get underway. Thames versus West Ham at the Riverbank. They're down as our local rivals. It's the closest team geographically to us. They're not too far away at all. If we beat them, hopefully all of their fans will come and watch us now, because that would be good for attendances. You can see got so many teams around us have got games in hand because they've stayed in cup competitions where we didn't. But I mean, yeah, it's not actually that good. But Hull, I guess, are our limit right now. Hull are on 30. We're on 27. We've played the same amount of games. I mean, it's not bad, is it? Well, to be fair, results against Hull last season kind of dictate that. Hull are losing to Bolton. All right, I talked a lot about the results there that were coming in because not much was happening on our pitch. To be fair, this isn't the worst result ever. As we're on the ball, first the highlight of the game goes our way as Tipping goes back to Smith, back into McDonald. And I can't believe, without making loads of major transfers, we're doing this well. As West Ham have got to try and get this away. They do pretty well, actually. And it goes out to Guibels on that side. Ball down the middle. We're on the wrong side of the defender, or the striker even. And wow, has he missed an open goal there? I feel like he's missed an open goal, really. Good save from Davis, but he's got to be finishing that. Corner to West Ham at the end of the half, and they get so fortunate, it feels like. West Ham put it in, though, and, Glenn Robertson with the goal. Of course, you're all familiar with him. You know what he's like. He's a crazy guy. As the slide tackle, the clearance, and it's such a mess. That is a bit of a shame. At half time, though, it's been pretty even. They've had a bit more of the ball, maybe a couple of better chances. But regardless of that, we're going to stay as we are. I was going to say, unlucky boys, things haven't gone right. Their goal was pretty fortunate, so I don't feel like we've been outplayed so much in that first half as we've got a little bit unlucky. Come on, Thames. This is where you got to earn your money. It's not a lot of money, but earn your money. Of course, at some point, we will probably change things up, potentially go more attacking, although I think we're vulnerable to that. Sort of whatever we do here, we're going to be vulnerable to them. As there's another highlight. This highlight might dictate what we do next. So an important one as Tipping just loses out when the ball's played up to him. And, we do well to win it back, though. Some decent closing down, but they regain possession. And now it's Robertson, the goal scorer, who goes out to that right-hand side into Kane. Forward again, Bokic played forward. He's got a chance, perhaps, from a difficult angle, just wide. And It's difficult. I don't really know what the best thing to do is. Obviously, I can go more attacking, but then I don't want our fullbacks to get pulled out of all sorts of positions, and then there's space in behind. They're playing a 4-4-2, so that's definitely possible. I think we might... Okay, again, this might dictate everything. Another good save. 25 minutes to go. Do we make some attacking changes? Bring on... I'm kind of tempted to go 2 up front and trying to match them a little bit, which might be a bit of a risk. I'm gonna try something I didn't think I'd be doing in this game. I realise there's a corner going on. You'll notice I've got no care for it because I know what happens. Okay, Cousins is going to come on as the advance forward, and Tipping is going to be up there as the target man on attack. And we're going to continue on. I'm gonna go for 2 strikers. We're going to go a little bolder. I just don't think that they've offered that much going forward. So if we can put another threat in their half, maybe that'll do as well. As Colton plays forward Tipping, as he's been pulled back, and Robertson is the guilty party. The referee calls him over, already on a booking, gets himself another one, and he's gone. So West Ham down to 10. We should go attacking at this point. I've gone on to control by accident. We should go attacking without doubt and try and nick this now. I mean, there's not much more I can do. McDonald's going to come off for Holmes. Can we get a goal late doors? It's going to be really difficult to find an opening, and we're not doing it. West Ham have shut the door massively. We could have potentially got more attacking, but a 1-0 defeat to West Ham. Great result against Bolton. You can see there, though, it's not quite worked out. They got a bit lucky. Quite the game for Glenn Robertson, you've got to say, and not our best work. But I don't think it's difficult because I would say we're performing above expectations. I don't feel like I can criticise them. It's one of those things. Oh well, I guess we'll see. I don't know when our next games will be, so we'll check that now. So I will meet you next. I think we'll do an episode before we do the January episode, so it might be around sort of the Rotherham Leeds, the Yorkshire, couple of Yorkshire teams in there. We'll see how we do against them, and then of course bringing that January period, which looks to be it's Pat Rogers' Cardiff, Sheffield Wednesday, QPR, and Crystal Palace, and that will be a longer episode, maybe a stream. I'll have to wait and see. But of course you'll be let know by me at some point, maybe on Twitter. Get on the follow, and that brings us to the end. We'll love with care then from me until next time. I'll see you again very, very soon. Goodbye. And what do you think about the tactics? Is there things we could change, alter? I mean, so far, not too bad. Also, do you think it's a good move? I'm just sort of doing some more dialogue here. Do you think it's a good move to have these 2 tactics? And should I ever go back to the diamond? And if so, in what sort of game? Like in a game where we're massive favourites? Or do you think that the system with wide players with pace is better? I don't know. Genuine questions help. I never do this. People aren't going to know what... People are going to be like, he wants my...